All right, everyone, I'll go ahead and get things started. There's not any real agenda items for this week. I made a query for it. Didn't get any feedback on agenda items. Couple things to note and things that we need to start thinking about and bringing forward. The first thing around the different APIs that we have defined so far, we're working on putting auto generation of the protocol buffer information. There's a capability called Buff that's out there. Right now, we've got it cleaned up and working on a couple of the folders right now, both the security and the inventory folder have Buff working on them. We're going to continue to push that out. The goal around that is so that we can, instead of having the people who are contributing have to generate all the protobuf files and check them in and make sure that it's there, and then you end up with a bunch of errors sometimes in the checking mechanisms. This will allow auto creation to occur, and there'll be a separate location where all of the generated protobuf files will be for Go, Python, etc. So that's what we're working on, doing that automation in the system. So we're going to start rolling that out. But right now we've got the lint functionality working for Buff in at least two of the folders. The other thing that we need to start considering and looking at is in the networking workshop, we talked about laying out priority use cases that we need to delve into and start bringing forward. We already have the work that's ongoing with EVPN, which is the EVPN gateway, and that's completely separate. The other two priority items that we brought up were TLS offload, termination, and policy capabilities. So we want to start working on putting together what that use case would look like, what the capabilities would need to be, and then start putting together the API and the POC for that. So that's something that if anyone wants to start contributing, putting some of their ideas out there, please go ahead and we can start discussing it in the meetings. The other thing that we want to get into the use case pile is, at least from the priorities, was tunnel gateway. So we need to consider which tunnel gateways that would be. We already have IPsec as a solution that's out there. We do need to do some reworking on that. A couple weeks ago, we had the discussion with John, who's on the call, related to how we need to extend and rework the way we've got our IPsec in there currently. So we're going to start moving forward with some of that work. But there are other tunnel gateways that we need to consider and start driving the APIs out for. And this will help us get the definitions more put out there for the networking capabilities. So those were the things I wanted to bring up, try to get people to think about and start contributing forward on. Are there any other Is there any topics or areas that the team here would like to bring up and discuss today?
Yeah, I was just curious with the use of
Yep.
are you also going to exploit its ability to detect breaking changes in protobuf?
Yeah, we're working through the different capabilities of Buff right now. So what we're trying to do at this point, we've got the lint functions that are going in, so that's in place, at least on those three. We're going to extend it to the other ones. We're also making sure that the POCs that are using these revised protobufs are updated. So yeah, that's going to cause some breakage in the different things that are there. And then of course, when things are submitted, you have to go back and make sure that there aren't any broken things based upon what Buff detects or the changes that we make associated with that. Is there something else that you're thinking of, Chris?
No, I think that I haven't read for a while, but Buff has the ability of looking at like previous version of Protobuf and the new proposed one and saying, if you do this, you're going to break the interface.
Yeah.
Without running
those
a
are
test, without running a test. It's just analytically can do that.
right. Okay. Yeah, we haven't put that in place, but that's a good thing to add. So I'll go take a look at that because
Yeah.
I've been working on a lot of the changes for Buff, and so is Boris. But he and I'll talk about that.
Okay.
See what we can do.
Hey Mark, just one quick question. Right
Mhm.
now, the generated protobuf files for the different languages like Go and Python, they are under the API repo, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So now, with the new facility in place, are you gonna generate those protobufs and place them in a different repo? Because right now I'm consuming those protobufs that has been generated from XPU CNI in a project. And should I point to a different repo right now and in order to import them?
So don't point to a different repo yet. We're going to roll that out at some point.
Uh-huh.
But we want to make sure Buff is completely working, auto-generating things correctly the way we want it, and we're placing it into a new repo where that's the point where we'll pick it up and we'll say, okay, now the different POCs need to transition over to the new repo reference. But we'll
Okay,
announce that before it happens.
okay, so you are gonna give an update like in the future about that.
Yes, yeah. Because
Okay.
right now we're just trying to get Buff to work correctly, all of the linting to be done properly. And once we get all of that worked out, then we're going to do the repo transition so that from that point on, as a contributor, you don't have to go out and generate all of those protobuf files. Instead, it'll be done automatically and updated into the new repo.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks.
Sure. Anything else that we want to discuss this week? If not, I'm going to give everybody time back. We didn't have a lot on the topics for this week, but I would like, to start seeing any inputs that we have related to TLS offload and termination and policy, or some of the tunnel gateways that we want to start addressing. And beyond that, I will give everybody time back in their schedule. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank
Have a good day.
Thanks, Mark.